Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're prepping this old 5.3 LS block. But we're going to see if we can save it. It's been sitting in my garage for a couple years. As you can see, it needs quite a bit. I have all the pieces for it. Well, I have a bunch of extra parts for it. But it's been sitting in the garage for a number of years. I think it's time to get the OBS ready for a little 5.3 LS block. What do you guys think? Okay guys, as you can see, we got a lot of cleaning up to do. So we're going to start by taking some of the stuff off. We're going to take out the cam plate, the actual oil pump, take off a couple of sensors. We're going to pressure wash it. Then I'm going to put it on the engine stand and start tearing into it. So let's get to it. We got some bags to put everything away. Got the old timing chain. Throw that in the bag as well. And we have to remove the cam plate. You always want to change these out. This gasket's probably original. I actually don't know how many miles this engine has on it. I'm sure it's over 200,000, but this will be getting replaced definitely. But save the bolts. And we need to get this cam out. These are some old water pump bolts I had from LS. But before we do that, let's get some of these lifters out. Alright, these are pretty simple. All you need is you have a 10 mil. And then you have the actual lifter trays. Same thing on the other side. Lifter came out with that one. Okay. So we get a shot of the lifters in here. Just gently. Maybe not. There it is. Let's get all these out. Okay, all the lifters are out. These lifters will not be reused. These are the old style truck lifters. I ordered some new LS7 lifters, but you can see why the actual roller bearing that rides on the cam bearing isn't actually sealed. The LS7 lifters are sealed all the way around, and you just have the roller bearing on the bottom. So these are pretty much trash. They're still good, but not good to me. All right guys, after that, the cam is free to come out. As I said before, these are some old water pump bolts. It still moves freely in there after sitting in my garage for about 4 years, but let's see. Come on. Almost. There it is. That wasn't too bad. And this cam wasn't too bad either. Except for it's a stock truck cam. Alright, and if you're familiar with the LS engine platform, which everyone goes to LS, you're never supposed to look at these. But we are. Why? Because we are replacing them. This block is not going to be taken to machine shop, but I am going to do it in-house, well, in the backyard. But you can see there, got a little bit of the bearing showing, some copper. So you can get a better look. So all that copper and the top of the bearing looks less worn out than the bottom, so that's typical for LS engine. So we'll be replacing those. Let's get to more of the stripping down on this motor, cleaning it up. We're gonna power wash it, see what we have.
MGJ Production.
We just have a few more sensors. This is a ground point. Oil pressure sensor. Camshaft position sensor. That's been in there for a long time.
MGJ
We have the back main seal. At some point, someone's opened this up. There's a bunch of RTV gasket maker. Let's look at the back cam bearing. Same thing. It's worn out a bit. The top's not so bad. You can see we'll be changing those out anyway. And we still have the crank in there. That needs to come out as well. But for now, we're gonna power wash the hell out of this thing. See if we can't make it look a little bit nicer.
MGJ Production.
Alright guys. Let's get this engine off this engine stand. Alright guys, let's flip this old 5.3 over. We still need a little bit more washing to do, as you can see. Got a rusty crank. This is a Gen 3 24X, so it's an older 5.3, but we'll make it work. Hopefully we could save this thing. Let's get a little more pressure washing done so we can wrap it up and we could take the crank out of the bottom end, and hopefully by today pound out these old bearings, cam bearings, pop in some new ones, just do a lot of prep work, start everything, get everything ready for a reassembly on our little 5.3. Alright guys, and there's pretty much no way you can mess this up. Once you take out the crankshaft, the retainers, you have, this one is the far back one, this is the back of the block obviously. This is number 5. You have number 4. You have number 3, number 2, and that of course is 1. So there's no way you can mess that up. Alright, we have a few more to go. Alright guys, we're going to take these caps out. Obviously you can't get these mixed up. They come in orientation of, this is the front of the motor, the crank obviously. You have the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 is always the back one. But you do have these 10 millimeters. Need to come out. And after everything's loose, these are pretty straightforward. It should pop right out. It's the first one. The second one.
NGJ Production.
It's all apart. Then we have our crank. I'll put this somewhere safe. And we have all of our bearings. These bearings actually were not too bad. Everything's still spinning very freely. Let's check it out. Other than some dirt in there, not too bad at all. The front one does look a little bit worn. See some heat scoring. That's alright, we'll be replacing those anyway. Let's get some more pressure washing going. Alright guys, engine's back over. Take off the valley cover. Alright guys, we just gotta take out the NOx sensors. Alright, those are out. These are obviously been in there way too long and they're trash. Then we got the valley cover. You have little gaskets in there that usually rip if water's been sitting in there. There we are. Came off with the gasket. Those are obviously broached out. Let's get a little more cleaning done. Alright guys, we got some degreasing to do. Now that the block is bare, let's hit it with a little bit of degreaser. Everything will start melting off pretty quick. This is just some oven cleaner from Walmart.
NGJ Production.
Alright guys, we're just going to be hitting up the underside. Giving a quick pass. Alright guys, I don't have a dingle ball hone, but I have one of these. It is a engine cylinder hone. These are from Harbor Freight. This is the cheapest one I could find, so that's what I'll be using. Alright, the way these work, these are the 3-stone hone from Harbor Freight. Sure it's on there tight. We're going to lube up the cylinders. And with these, unlike the dingle ball hone, we shouldn't stop inside the cylinder. We're just going to give it a couple passes, make every single one even. I'm going to go for about, we'll start off with 10 seconds, 15 seconds. 15 seconds we'll start off with. All right. Let's see what we got. That looks pretty good already. Let's do it again. So about 10 seconds each pass. Let's see how that goes. 1, 2. All right. See what we got here. Doesn't look bad. Let's get the next couple cylinders.
NGJ Production.
All right, guys, all the cylinders are done. They don't look half bad. They're okay. For this little project, they'll do. Everything cleaned up pretty good. All the glaze is gone. Nice cross hatching on the cylinder walls. Obviously, I'm doing everything in the backyard, so I'm not taking it to machine shop. And this surface needs to be flat when you put your cylinder heads on. We're pretty much done. I'm just going to try to deck the surface with just a flat piece of wood and some sandpaper. Wet it up and let's get doing that. All right, guys, we're going to be decking the surface, kind of, sort of, ghetto style. As you can see, we're not taking very much material off. We're just making it flat again. Which for this, that'll be perfect. We'll just probably hit the front as well. All right, guys, everything's cleaned up. As you can see, everything's still really wet. So we're gonna hose everything off. And these things start to flash rust like super quick, especially if you're using water. So of course we got the universal lubricant, WD. Of course, we want to keep everything nice and lubed up. I do have this old bearing tool, so it just slides in. You guys could see I've already marked the bearing. Very important that these are for the oil galleys for your camshaft. So I marked the bearing on the outside so I know where the new one will be sitting. You can see it's all worn out. I don't feel right about running bearings like this again. I know a lot of people do and they don't have any problems, but it's just cheap insurance. Cam bearings are very inexpensive. They're about 20-30 bucks for some cheap ones. They'll do the job. So we're gonna knock those out. All right, just line up your tool. Pop she goes. And that detaches from there. You can turn this sideways. And voila, old bearing is out. Let's take a better look at this so you can see all the brass and the worn out bearing on the top. That came out pretty easy. Hey guys, let's get the rest of these bearings out. You have a little collar, slides in there to keep everything center. You hold your collar. That one's out. Next one up. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this one. I didn't get as far as I wanted to, but we're almost there. All the bearings are punched out, block's all cleaned up, came out pretty good. So as you see in the video, we cleaned everything up. The block is pretty much bare. We got to punch some cam bearings in. That'll be the next video I put up. As always, comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.